back to NBA with the OG crew. We're -1 right now, but we got Babano and Wham Bam with myself to try to get the job done. And I've been seeing the board quite well lately. I can't lie. I think I've won 3 days in a row, so I'll try to take that into the show today. I'll go around the horn. Babano, how what have you thought of the playoffs so far? How's the NBA been treating you?
Yeah, up and down last night. Some wins, some losses, but nothing major. Kind of an up and down. But we had the Lakers first half. That did me well, even though the Lakers said bon voyage to their season and the playoffs last night. I mean, it was just but for people like me that took the Lakers in the first half every game, perfect 5-0 in the series against Denver. So happy to see that. Thanks for all the first half winners, Lakers. I appreciate that, even though the season came to an end for them last night. But yeah, very entertaining. A couple of games for sure. Oklahoma City, great job there by them last night, taking care of business against New Orleans. And now we're on to tonight. 3 big games with the Bucks facing elimination, Sixers facing elimination, and we've got one series that does feel like it's got 6. Well, it will be going 6, but has 7 games written all over it with Orlando and Cleveland. So excited to look forward to the games tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking them out with you guys because I've been liking some stuff, but I haven't quite pulled the trigger. Wham Bam, I saved you for last because I know you don't want to talk about what you've been seeing in the NBA.
Oh,
But
yeah.
how's it been treating you though?
Listen. We don't gotta say the L word no more. It's over with. And like you said, I actually anything in yet, but I'm very sure I'm going to be making something official before the end of the show. And then as far as the chat, shout out to the chat, Jeff, Brandon, Rick, Tasha, Queen, Nets Best, my brother. Man, you already know. Justin, we appreciate y'all for showing up, showing out for us all the time. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Get in on a membership with my boy Skee, doing great work here. Like he said, he's been winning the last 3 days. We are definitely going to bring that in. Shout out to Dutch on vacation. Hope he lives it up, get that good tan on. I know he surely values that. He did. And yeah, man, as far as NBA is in a good product right now. It's a little parity going on. We got 2 elimination games tonight. So let's see if we're going to have a show on Thursday or not, bro.
And no Dutch today, guys, means you're going to get to see Ian Dutch, Bobano Dutch at the end of the show today.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. You do a great job. And Nathan, he doesn't think there's going to be any games on Thursday. So let's talk it out. Let's see. First game up, we have Sixers and Knicks. Knicks are a 4-point favorite currently, and the total came down 2 points to 203. You have Embiid, who might miss his game with the migraine. I think it was. I mean, he has a lot going on, but he wasn't present at shoot around. I'm not sure if they've updated since then. I still see him game time decision. And Oubre is probable. For the Knicks, no Bogdan. Mitchell Robinson is questionable. Brunson is probable. So I'll come back to you here, Babano, on this game. And my thought was the Sixers are done. Like mentally, they're done. I know the series is over, etc. The Knicks, everybody should play well at home. I would only look towards the Knicks. How do you view it?
Yeah, me too. I was waiting to see where this number would go, but I'll be on the Knicks in some form, laying the form most likely. I don't know if I'll go first quarter, first half, probably just full game, because you would think maybe the Sixers have an early punch in them. They are facing elimination. You think they'd have to come out strong, but it's just how much is left in the tank. And it's not just the migraines and it's coming back from the injury for Embiid. It's that he's playing a shit ton of minutes. Nick Nurse is wearing him into the court here in this series with the amount of time he's playing him. Like it's like 40 minutes. I mean, and it's just for a guy that's not 100% as far as, not only his physical health, but obviously mental as well with the migraines. I mean, that's a lot to ask of this guy who has had to do so much for this team because, to be quite honest, too often it's a Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid team. You're not getting shit from Tobias Harris. I don't know what that guy is doing here in this series, but it's just been very disappointing, from some of the supporting cast here for the Sixers in this series. And I'm seeing the Knicks at the end of Game 4, and I cashed a ticket with the Knicks plus the points. I was surprised it got that high on Philadelphia, in Game 4. I know people figured they won Game 3 at home. They were going to win Game 4 at home as well and hold serve at home. But I thought, no. The Knicks have a good response in them, a team that's been amping it up defensively, and they did that. Down the stretch, who was getting all the stops? The Knicks. Who was winning all the hustle points? the hustle, for loose balls. Who were winning those battles? The Knicks were, in down the stretch. But like I said, I just don't know where the Sixers are mentally. Skee, you kind of hinted at that. Do they already feel defeated right now going into this game tonight? So again, can the Sixers rise up and win and take this series back? Yes, but with Embiid wearing down physically, I think with the migraines and coming back and all the minutes he's playing, that's a lot of a task on him when he's not getting a great supporting cast performance. And to be honest, they've been the better defensive team in these close games, the Knicks too. So yeah, I'll be on the Knicks in some form. Like I said, I was waiting to see where the number would go. But yeah, for me, Knicks -4.
Wham bam. Are you feeling the same? Are the Knicks gonna, get him out of here, send him to Galveston? That's where people are going nowadays.
The Galveston, go out there and be with a Queen Beehive or something like that. I've been hearing about. What? Neither here nor there. I'm not talking about Galveston at all. I'm sure they will mention it on the TNT stream though, for sure. But 76ers, man. You said it, Babano, you said it, Ian, and Skee. I mean, both of you guys, like, it's demoralizing, man. Like, you got this guy, you coming in here, and Bronson having terrible first few games. Now he's pretty much back at action here. Now you got to deal with him. And on top of that, your team is not really responding to any of the stuff that the Knicks are doing. You're still getting a phenomenal play by Josh Hart. You're still getting phenomenal play down low from Isaiah Hartenstein. It's just a lot to add up. And then on top of the 76ers, you're not necessarily getting I'm not sure if I'm seeing enough from Tyrese Maxey. I'm seeing a little bit too much bullshit. And obviously, I've been on the bad end of his last two player props. So maybe I'm a little biased. I will throw that out there because I have lost by a hook on one. And then last game, he just nowhere near the point total for making that up for us. So if you're on Maxey, I'm going to pray for y'all. Shout out to you. I hope you haven't been losing these last few like I have, but I'm not nowhere near touching him. I think it's a demoralizing game, but I'm not going to lie. Out of the two elimination games, I think there's a little bit more hope for the 76ers than it is for the Bucks. So I would say I would put them a little bit ahead of them, but that being said, it's not necessarily something I'm going to put my money on. I'm with you, Babeno, but I'm a little bit against you because I'm with you with the Knicks, but I think the Knicks first half is where I would want to go, if anything. I don't want to chance that the 76ers have some heart, chance that they're going to be able to bounce back in the first half. I think that is considered what the Knicks has already did in the series, 3-1 ATS in the first half. I think they kind of keep that going. So I would take them in the first half rather than the Sixers there. That would be the one that I think I'm going to end up playing here.
All right. I got a question from the chat for all of us. It says, which do you guys like more, Brunson over 46.5 points, rebounds, and assists, or Maxey over 25.5 points? I'll go first. If I have to choose, I'll choose Maxey just because I feel like he has to do everything. It could be a lot of different people who chip in for the Knicks. And this one, I think I would like more than that because this is one of the guys who I think chips in. McBride over 8.5 points. Babano.
And a guy that shot better at home, McBride, as well, for the New York Knicks. And again, you always say this, the supporting cast usually shoots the ball at a higher percentage on the home floor than they do on the road. So, yeah, and I agree with you, Maxey, because it's a backs against the wall spot. And because you're not buying low on Jalen Brunson props tonight. Not after the game he just had. He was spectacular. He was an absolute monster in Game 4 in Philadelphia. To me, you're not buying low on any Jalen Brunson props tonight. Yeah, maybe he goes off again. He could, especially at home, but I don't think you're getting a bargain at 46.5 for that with him.
Wham bam.
I'll say Bronson just because I've been burnt, but like I said, I'm a little biased here, so these guys gave you a great explanation of why you would rather take the other side. But again, I'm a little biased, so I would say Bronson just because he's already shown that he's over the edge of that heel that he was had in the first few games.
All right, good stuff. Let's move it over to another game, and that's the Pacers and Bucks. Pacers are a 4-point favorite. Total looks like 216. No Dame, no Giannis. Middleton and Beverly are both probable, I believe. Allie is game time. I'm going to come to you first on this one, Wham Bam. Pacers in a great spot to go ahead and throw the final punch and knock the Bucks out. But is the young team ready for an elimination game on the road?
it's an interesting thing is the way you broke that down too, because it's like they got Rick Carlisle who should be explaining, certain things that he experienced with the Mavericks. They got the pedigree with Pascal Siakam, who's pretty much the sole guy outside of Kawhi at the time. So he knows what's going on as far as getting over this hump, I would say, to knock this team out. It's hard to trust this Bucks team to have some type of grit, especially now that we know this season was not necessarily for them anyway. And I think that's kind of the reason why Giannis never forced it as much as you've seen Embiid force it, as much as you've seen like AD push it yesterday after he got hurt. Like, you're not seeing him really forcing like that. He hopping up and doing all the theatrics on the bench, but he's not forcing it and getting out there. And the fact that they kind of already ruled him out, I think that's kind of a telltale sign that, this is the Doc Rivers led team that you don't want to trust in the late game execution or any type of elimination fashions here. So there's no way I'm trusting the Bucks here. And if I do like the Bucks, I'm only going to go to props. And last game, man, I damn near kicking myself because I seen it clear that they were trying to hope up Bobby Portis. And sure enough, his point total was at 19.5. He gets ejected, only ends up with just a single digit score. Now it's at 21.5. They're expecting him to get whatever points he was supposed to get in the last game to double it up today. And I don't think that's the case. I think it's Brook Lopez only. I would go with Brook Lopez because he's already shown us he's been pretty consistent. He's able to go over this 15.5 points last game. And I think they're going to need him just as much as again today. So that's the only way I will be betting in this game. It would be Brook Lopez over 15 points, 15.5 points.
But Bano, they didn't have too much trouble scoring, whether who was on the floor in that game. No Dame, no Giannis. They do get Bobby Portis back though. Do you think this game is another over game?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly will help. They could take anything, but it doesn't take away the fact that you're without Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. I mean, and you've got to plug in the likes of Chris Middleton, who's older, who's had a lot of injuries, Beasley, Brook Lopez, who, by the way, is playing more minutes than I ever remember him playing, 38, 40 minutes out of this guy. He's going to be sucking dirty pond water, at some point in this series from fatigue. I mean, that guy's not used to playing this much on the basketball court from a game-to-game basis. I mean, at some point, it's not only, that your defense is worse. Everything's worse without these two guys, but you got these guys that are playing minutes they're not accustomed to. They're going to fatigue. They're going to wear down, and that's not what you want in a backs-against-the-wall elimination spot either. From this Milwaukee team, they have not had any answers for really anyone on the Indiana Pacers, the last few games. Everyone's getting their cookies. I mean, 5-6 Pacers at double digits, in game 4. Turner, 29. Siakam only had 13. But Andrew Nesmith, 13. Nembhard, 15. Tyrese Halliburton, 24. Obi Toppin with 13 off the bench. I mean, you're going to be in some trouble, if you're not going to. You got to take someone out of the equation, and the Bucks defensively are not taking anyone out of the equation right now for the Indiana Pacers. So, to me, look, I've cashed tickets now 3 games in a row in this series. After game 1, I'm sure a lot of people got a little concerned for Indiana, but that was really just Damian Lillard going nuts in the first half. You take that one half of basketball away from this series for Milwaukee, that first half game 1 when Damian went nuts, it's been all Indiana. They cut the deficit in the second half of game 1. It was all Indiana game 2, game 3, and game 3, Milwaukee pushed back a little, forced overtime after a bad start. So I will give them credit for that. But Indiana found ways to win. And then in game 4, they took care of business again. So I've been on Indiana team total over and the full game over. Both of those bets, 3 straight games, cashed the team total each time. Each of those games also went over the full game total. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going right back to those same 2 bets tonight. Indiana team total over 109.5 and full game over 216 with Pacers and Bucks.
I think that's a solid bet right there, or solid bets there. I kind of wanted to get there with the over, so I like that. Let's move it over to the last game.
And I like the Pacers team total better than the spread because just of the defense. And you are facing a desperate team. And sometimes the Indiana defense can be shaky, but their offense is electric. They're going to push it from a tempo standpoint. And Milwaukee's just not the same defensively. So that's why I really prefer team total Indiana than -4.
And I'll go back and concur with everything that you guys are saying with that over. I actually did like that over last game. It was like 6 points dropped down, and it dropped, I think, even to 14.5 at closing. Obviously went over easily there, and you're starting to see this in total doing the same thing. So I'm not fearful of the line dropping or anything like that. I still like this over with you guys.
Reading some comments, some good comments coming in here. Joshua says, if you can't get stops, how can you cover the margin? I always say that. Says OKC and Pacers similar build, but OKC has elite defense. Pacers do not. Yeah, I don't usually like to trust the Pacers minus the points. Saturated. I mentioned this when I first brought up the game. So yes. I think the over is good, and I would not be taking the Pacers. I'll just say that. Next
One
game
thing
up,
about Joshua saying Bucks shoot high volume of threes opposed to the Pelicans versus OKC. Bucks are a more dangerous home dog here. There's a scenario, Josh, where with the way I'm betting it, this could be one. Let's say Milwaukee actually wins as a home dog. They show the pride. Not a great night defensively from the Pacers. You could see Milwaukee 115, Indiana 112. That kind of final score. Guess what? If that's the final score and Milwaukee wins, I still cash both my bets. Indiana team total still goes over. A full game still goes over. That's why I'm taking that approach. Don't have to worry about the Indiana defense or Milwaukee rain and threes.
and he agrees with you there. And I took a team total on the Pacers too for that same reason. I believe that was the overtime game. It cashed, and they did not cover. I don't think. I think so. Good stuff. Magic and Cavaliers. Last game on the slate for today. Cavs are a 5-point favorite. Total has crept up now, 202 consensus. And injury report, Jared Allen is game time. I don't know to believe this very likely to play, but that's what it says on RotoWire. I'll say like this, and I'm gonna come right back to you here, Ian, because I've been thinking about this one all the time, and I want to hear what you got to say on the total. The Magic start off the series like they're the young team, they're nervous, they weren't ready, etc. They look really bad. They went home, they figured some things out. They haven't had a whole lot of trouble scoring anymore. If Jared Allen is out, I think it's easier for them to score in the paint as well. But I don't think just because they're going on the road now, all of that scoring is going to disappear. I think they'll continue to score. And the Cavaliers, they said that they're going to bring it. I think they'll continue to score as well. So I just think the total was a little bit too low, just expecting them to barely get over 200 when they've cleared it the past couple times. I'm liking over. Can you talk me off?
Well, I'll tell you what, Orlando certainly figured some things out offensively in Orlando. The question is going to be, can they carry this over and translate it on the road here to Cleveland? Because we also saw this same Orlando team in game 1 and in game 2 not even get out of the 80s. So that's the scary part. Have they figured it out? Have they exploited something in the Cleveland defense that they think they can have success with? What I found about the two games in Orlando, in particular, of course, the 112-89 beatdown, we saw from Orlando in game 4, is that sometimes you just got to keep it simple. And what we saw was Orlando was the much tougher basketball team. Plus 14 on the glass for Orlando in game 4. Sometimes it's just that simple. If you're going to out-rebound the opponent by 14, you're going to get second and third chances and more opportunities for points and more opportunities to pile up a margin. So the question I have now coming into tonight is, because when you look at the other numbers for Orlando in the game 4 victory the other night, their three-point shooting was definitely better, 12 for 26, 46%. But if the threes aren't going to fall, on the road as much, which we have to assume here now in Cleveland, are you going to bring that tenacity still on the glass against the likes of Mobley and Allen, whose status, of course, has been up in the air going into this game tonight? Although there's some controversial or some conflicting, I should say, reports. Is he in? Is he out? Obviously, it's huge because we know the Orlando front court's been one of their strengths all year. And if you take that away, you have a good chance to beat Orlando. We'll have to wait and see how this goes. It was definitely the Magic that just looked like they were the hungrier, the tougher team on the glass. They certainly shot better at home. Can they bring it with them on the road? If they can, then I think to Skee's original question with the total, it can go over because I think Cleveland's definitely going to pick things up offensively tonight back home. You can't expect their good backcourt of Mitchell and Garland to struggle to that extent once again here tonight in this game. So, I kind of do have faith Orlando's figured some things out offensively. They've been obviously putting up a better fight rebounding. You just got to hope Orlando's not a complete and utter disaster from the three-point line in Game 5 tonight, Skee, like they were in Game 1 and in Game 2. Because if it's going to be that way again, and they're just not making anything, and you're not getting any three-point shooting from the Wagner guys or from Gary Harris or anyone on this Orlando team, it's going to be tough for at least tougher for the game to go over the total. But you got to think there's going to be some kind of correction. We've seen 3 unders in this series. Only Game 3, of this series went over the total. For me, it's a total I didn't get there with. But I'm kind of with Skee. It sounds like Skee's leaning over. I kind of am as well. I don't feel great about it. I'm going to take a small shot on Orlando, though, +5. I mean, I think I am concerned that it's been a home team series. I'm concerned that Cleveland did not play, or Orlando did not play well in the first 2 in Cleveland, but they definitely have some serious momentum. And what I saw to Cleveland in the second half in Orlando, I can't just look past that. It was alarming. It was concerning to see them get run out and out-hustled and outplayed and just got their tail kicked in that second half by Orlando. I think Orlando's figured some things out in this series. I really do. And if Cleveland wins, I don't think it's going to be the easiest game for them. So I'm going to take a small shot on Orlando. Not a game I love as much as the other 2, but I take a small shot on Orlando. I'm with Skee. I lean over. I don't know if I'm going to get there, though. There are a couple props, too, I'll throw out. I like Banchero over points, and they've dropped Gary Harris's point prop down to 5.5. He needs 2 threes to hit that. I know it's on the road. It can be a little scary, but I'm going to take a shot that we can get a couple trays from Gary Harris tonight.
Wham Bam, how you viewing Magic and Cavs?
Yeah, man, that's that is it, right? There's only a shooter that we have the looking on for is Gary Harris. So I agree with you there, Babano. This series is it's very interesting now. It's tied up because, like you said, Babano, there's something that has been figured out, and Skee alluded to it as well. Like once they got over there to Orlando, they're able to figure out how to score. Now they're averaging 100 points in this series. That first game on the road, the big difference was about 10 points, I think, in the bench that they didn't have in the first 2 games. It was about a combined of 7 points differential, even though they outbenched, the bench outproduced the Cleveland bench, but it was pretty much profound in that third game, and it was crazy, triple damn near almost in that last game. It was 43 bench points to 15, so they pretty much killed the bench there by the Cavs. Obviously, a little bit of that was blowout factor there, but what happened in the second half, like Ian was saying as well, but I'm just adding that into what they've been doing as far as the rotation wise. I think the rotation is starting to get a little bit silenced in a little bit, and they're trusting a little bit more guys that are starting to get a little bit legs up under them, like Jonathan Isaac. His impactful 15 minutes that he's adding in is really impactful, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then this is not to be talked about enough, but the boy that's hurt, even if he's playing or not, I think the fact that he is hurt for Jared Allen, that should cause for concern. He's the second leading scorer, and the guy that's ahead of him is inefficient as can be. What he's averaging so far in this damn series is 21 points, and then as far as his shooting splits is just nasty as hell. I think he's shooting like 28% from the 3 and about 47% from the field or something like that. Something around there. I had it up, but I just looked out of it. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to trust. And yeah, I did say it was 25% from 3, 42% from the field. Even worse than I said. It's just something that it has to be said. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is here. I think JB Burkenstaff is gone. So all those added into the fact that the Magic's starting to get confidence in their shot, and that's the thing that we're saying that they have the best advantages as far as offense. I gotta go Magic here, honestly. I think the Magic possibly win outright here on the road and possibly could finish this game and next what's that, Thursday or Friday or whatever they play. So I think they could finish this game off by winning these next 2 games, and I think it's going to start off early here. I wanted to go with the Cavs early, but I'm gonna stay away from that. I think that the Magic are a little bit tougher here. And another thing that they figured out is that Franz Wagner has to be the go-to guy. You could go a little bit Paolo as much, but I think when you need a bucket, you're gonna go with that matchup. It's a little bit better than it is for Paolo going up against those other guys. So I think the Wagner brothers do it up again, man, against these boys, and I think Orlando wins here. Nothing official here at all, but that's just the way I'm thinking. Both games is win by the Magic.
Jordan says Magic shot 55%, not going to happen on the road. I don't know if you're saying that for the Magic side. Maybe you are. But I know the Cavaliers shot 24% from three in that game. I think they'll shoot a little bit better at home for my over. So that's what I'm liking there in that game. And that's the three for today. I'll ask you really quick, but I know if you have any thoughts for tomorrow before we move over to best bets. I know you do a great job breaking it down.
Yeah, as for tomorrow, Miami, Boston. Look, you know, I'm often interested in Spo off a loss, and which cashed for me in game 2, but I went back to it last night and didn't go so well. Spo off a loss, so I'm not just drinking the Spo off a loss Kool-Aid anymore. They look like a defeated team a little bit, Miami, but you know, you're now laying an even bigger number now with Boston, 14. I don't feel I want to lay that many with Boston, but it's hard to have faith in Miami. They look like they've hit a wall. Boston's figured them out both ends of the floor. So it's probably a pass game for me. Honestly, when it comes to Miami and Boston, I'll say this, the total's dirt cheap. I mean, certainly if you like an over in that game tomorrow night, you've got a dirt cheap number at less than 200 now, lowest total of the series. So maybe I can talk myself into an over there, 199.5, but as of right now, don't love it. And then the other game, Dallas and the Clippers. Yeah, I like Dallas here in that one. I agree with the move. I still think they can win that series. It's not a big deal playing in LA against the Clippers by any stretch of the imagination. What do the Clippers do with Kawhi, though? Because they're 2-0 without him. They're 0-2 with him in this series. What the hell do you do? I mean, it's almost like, you know, it frees up Paul George. It frees up James Harden when Kawhi's not there. And believe it or not, they've been a little more in sync without Kawhi. Crazy as it is to say, but that's been true so far in this series. But either way, Kawhi plays, doesn't play. Dallas in a bounce back spot. They can win on the road. They've shown it before. So I agree with the move on the Mavs there.
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, he was hurt for so long. They got used to playing without him to end the year. And you know, they just feel probably more comfortable playing that way than him coming back less than 100%. So I think that's what it is we're seeing. And I think, you know, Dallas, Luka, he almost had a triple double, but I don't feel like he was playing that good. And I think Dallas, you know, kind of started to figure some things out towards the end of that game. I think they'll carry that.
I like that
momentum
they were down
game
by that
versus the
big
Clippers.
ass margin, Skee, in the last game, and they didn't quit on the game. And in fact, they had a chance to win it at the end. That's probably positive for them going into tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at Dallas first quarter after that first game ass whooping. I might look that way again tomorrow. In the Miami and Heat game, I'll say this: I'm not laying 14 with Boston without Porzingis. I'm just not. You think they want to risk somebody else getting hurt too?
No.
Like, plus 14 is the only way to bet that game. Wham Bam, how you feel about it?
Yeah, man, I'm going to stick to the script on that game. Taking the Celtics first half is obviously a big number there. They've been covering every first half so far. So taking the Celtics -8, that's an official bet for me for sure. And the Clippers game, yeah, man, that was kind of hard to see. Playoff P came back to life. Figured out that game there. Momentum is actually on the Clippers side there, but I agree with you guys. If I'm not down tonight if I'm the Mavericks. We won here before. We come out here and win this game, and that's the type of attitude I would bring. But nothing officially in that game. And just in case if we don't have a game on Thursday and we can only get a chance to look ahead for Saturday or the first game for the second round, I'm going to say the Timberwolves come out and cover the first half in that Nuggets thing. I think the Nuggets are trying to play a little possum early on, allow their opponents to wide down, similar to what you've seen the Lakers win every first half. I'm going to test that theory here with the Timberwolves in game 1, and I'm going to take them first half money line and full of spread there. So I think that's going to be my approach for that game 1 in that second round against Timberwolves and Nuggets too.
Good stuff. And on that note, we'll move it on over to the best bet segment. Per usual, sliding it back to you, Wham Bam. You know you first up, so let the people know what's the best way to get paid today.
Yeah, I didn't make nothing official yet, but this has got to be the best bet for me. I think that I I just think that the 76ers probably are going to be out of here. Yeah, I'm going to take the Knicks first half. Again, I haven't locked this in yet, but I'm going to put this in right now. Knicks first half -2. I believe that this is just one of those. It's just one of those things that's been winning for us already so far. 3-1 so far in this series. 3-1 ATS in the first half. Let's make it 4-1 and finish the series out here with the Knicks. So Knicks first half -2. That's going to be my best bet for the day.
I like it. And I'll go ahead next. My best bet for the show, I will go with Orlando and Cleveland over that 202. Like I said earlier, I just think that some things have been figured out offensively for Orlando. Cleveland is going to play a lot better offensively than they did in that last game where they shot in the 20s from three. And some info from Dante. The refs tonight, what does he say? Combined 8-3 to the over this postseason. Tony Brothers 4-0 to the over. Maybe we get some extra help putting them on the foul line to get us up and over. So over 202, my best bet for the show. And last but not least, we'll pass it over to Babano. Let the people know what the best way to get paid is and help take us home.
Yeah, best bet for me. Take your pick. It could be either one of these: Pacers team total over or Pacers Bucks over 216. But I'll go with the full game over. Indiana Milwaukee over 216 for my best bet here for this Tuesday card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. The NBA is a hell of a drug, and you're looking at the plugs. Yeah, man. We're going in. We're coming out with a motherfucking bag. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed, and let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah, man.